You don't rub elbows with elites while trying to take them down. Makes you wonder, was this ever about helping people? Or has it always been a grift? It's the facade of freedom. It's all a facade. Do you feel politically homeless? Because I sure do. I can't really side with Democrats anymore because so much of what they're doing is it just doesn't make sense to me. And I can't support Republicans because there's so much conservative ideology that I just don't agree with. But there's some things from both sides that I do agree with. I just feel like I can't be the only one. I feel like I don't have a place in this political system because everyone wants to put you in a box. Everyone wants a label, and it just doesn't seem to work for me. Maybe I'm an independent. I guess that's the easiest thing to label myself as, but I don't know. There seems to be this really big divide on both political parties' sides of who's all in and who's kind of questioning everything that's happening right now. It just makes it really hard to know which side am I on? Which side do I support, if any? And right now, I don't support either one. I don't support Republicans because it's a much more conservative party than I'm comfortable with. But there are some things that I kind of do agree on. When it comes to not allowing the governments to have as much control on just us personally, yeah, I agree with that. I do also support the Second Amendment and having guns. But I do agree that there needs to be very serious restrictions and guidelines on who gets those guns, an age requirement for those guns, and also like a mental health check, because let's face it, we've got a lot of mental health issues going on in this country. We can't just let anyone have guns. I don't think kids should have guns. And that's just, part of it. On the Democratic side, I think that the liberal media has just kind of lost its mind a little bit. Everything is sensational. Everything is Trump is bad, Russiagate, and January 6th. Like, it's never going out of style. And it's like there are so many other things happening right now. And it feels like we're reliving 2008. The recession, the high gas prices, the astronomical food prices, and just feeling so very lost in the whirlwind of crap that was flung at us in 2008. It's repeating itself, which in a way kind of makes me think about, we now have Biden in office. We had Obama in office in 2008. Now we have Biden. And it just feels like we're reliving the same things of 2008 with a lot more intensity because we're coming off of a pandemic. We're coming off of a serious economic downturn. Well, not coming off of, we're still in it. And I don't believe politicians. They're just a bunch of bullshit performance artists. They say all of the wonderful, nice things to get us attached to them and wanting to support them, and unfortunately giving them thousands of dollars to support their campaigns. But what do? They turn around and just, it feels like, give us the bird. Liberals just seem to give us a lot of fluff, and they want to make everything very much about identity politics. And that's dangerous because, as we're seeing, it seems, at least from my perspective, it seems like every attempt that Democrats have in trying to promote progressivism and diversity, it's done in such a way that is so extreme that the Republicans, and especially the far right, don't really know how to respond to it with anything other than more extremism on their side. I don't hear a lot of people having the conversation about this. That, yeah, we want change, but we also have to recognize that not everyone's ready for it. Not everyone's prepared for it, and not everyone wants it. There's people very set in their ways. There's people very comfortable with this current system that we have because they benefit from it. And it's really hard to change a system that's benefiting a lot of other people And there's people that believe it's benefiting them, even though it's really not. But they have a level of privilege that they may or may not quite recognize. So they still believe in the system. And the democratic establishment, I don't know if it's purposeful. I want to say it's not, but a part of me just feels like it is purposeful, of taking things to these extremes and focusing on the things that they know are going to be controversial to the right, and just trying to shove that down people's throats, rather than focusing on issues that really do affect most of the Democratic base as well as the Republican base, and that's the working class. The working class is the one that's struggling right now. Low wages, high rent, skyrocketing food costs, no baby formula, inflation. We're about to have major food scarcity. There's food plants that have been just completely decimated. Oh, but none of it's connected. I don't know. I don't feel like I have a political party. And I have a lot of people asking me to identify, what's your political party? Where do you stand politically? And my thing is it's not about politics to me anymore. It's about the issues. Where do you stand on the issues? Do you believe that Epstein was a bad guy and rubbing elbows with everyone and anyone on both sides of the political spectrum and the oh so powerful elites of this country? Then we agree on that. Do we believe that we should be protecting children? Okay. Do we believe in a right to choose, whether that be a shot in the arm or a woman's right to choose? Because if you don't want to get the shot, I get that. I don't think you should have to unless you want to. Just like I think a woman should be allowed to make the decisions she wants to make for her body and her safety and her health. Do you believe that the bulk of politicians are corrupt and being given money from big pharma, big corp, and just going into politics because they know it's going to give them more access? Then yeah, let's be friends. We used to be able to agree on things, like fundamental truths. That the earth was round. The sky is blue. The grass is green. And now we're fighting about whether the earth is round or flat. Thanks to ops by NASA. Thanks, NASA. So yeah, to me it's like if we can't find a middle ground on the issues, then what the hell is the point of politics? Because politics is supposed to reflect our communities. And it doesn't. It's just a mass of billionaires, powerful elites, and these legacy families that have and will continue to be in power for decades, especially if they get their way with everything that's going on. So no, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I think it's time we need to focus on the issues and find our middle ground. Do you think we should have less wars? Let's be friends. Do you think what's happening in Ukraine shouldn't be happening? Let's be friends. So yeah, I feel politically homeless. Like, do we believe in universal basic income? Do we believe in Medicare for all? Or some type of universal healthcare system? Do you believe that our mental health issues in this country really need to be dealt with? That we have monopolized utilities in a way that's just affecting everyone? That we shouldn't let Silicon Valley elites be determining what is speech, what's misinformation? There's just a lot. There's a lot going on. And that's why it's hard to believe these politicians right now. Because we know they're not blind. And especially the progressives, the squad. I know they're not dumb. I know they see what's going on. They see everyone exposing their grift, their performative theater, their tax the rich dress at the Met Gala. You don't rub elbows with elites while trying to take them down. That's not how it works. And so when you do that kind of performative bullshit, it just makes you wonder, was this ever about helping people? Or has it always been a grift? Because they said all the nice things. They said all the right things. They built a coalition of millions of people that believe in the message, that believe that we can make some real fundamental change. And we put our faith in them. And what did they do with it? They squandered it and shoved Biden down our throats. And look at where we are. That man has done more to dismantle our economic stability in the last year since he became president than we've seen in a long time. His approval rating is at 27%. But they'll tell us to still vote for him. Or vote blue, no matter who. But it should matter who. Like, it should. That is one of the most ridiculous things I think I have ever heard. Vote blue, no matter who. That's just an easy out to not do the work. And they're not doing the work. When they've had the majorities, they still didn't do anything. They still don't deliver. Which begs the question, why? Why aren't they delivering when they very well could? Which just makes me think it's all to bolster the Republicans and what they're doing. Because a lot of people say it's not two parties, it's one party. And, Nancy Pelosi saying shit like, we need a strong Republican Party. Why? Can we have a strong Democratic Party that actually stands up to the fundamentals and beliefs that they love to espouse when it's midterms and presidential elections, when they want to get the black and brown vote? When is that going to happen? Oh, never. Because that's not the plan. That's not the goal. That's not what they're meant to do. They fearmonger us with Trump and the Supreme Court, yet take no actions to adequately respond to either of those. We let Ruth Bader Ginsburg stay on until she passed. And that's another side conversation for a later time. The fact that we have positions of power deciding our laws that we do not get to vote on, and they're appointed for life. That is absolutely ridiculous. And if that's not hearkening back to aristocracy and monarchical rule, then what is? It's the facade of freedom. It's all a facade. I don't know. This might not resonate with anyone. I barely understand it myself. But I can't help but think it's not about politics, it's about the issues. We can't get anywhere in politics if we don't start agreeing on some basic fundamental issues. And it needs to be those basic fundamental issues that are to help people. Because at the end of the day, when we all go to bed, as humans, we all have the same thoughts. We want ourselves and our family and our friends to be safe and to be protected. And deep down, I think the majority of us don't want to see homeless people in encampments all across the country. We don't want to see children going hungry. We certainly don't want to see children getting shot down and killed in their schools that they're meant to be learning and having fun and making friends and learning about the world, not getting shot at and losing their lives because some police officers don't have the fucking balls to just do the job. They let those kids die. That's what I feel. They let them die. Because they're scared to get shot at. Okay. You're a police officer. That's the job. People are skipping meals to make ends meet. Whole families are skipping meals to make ends meet. And we're going to still pay attention to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and Elon Musk and Kim Kardashian. It's the distraction campaign. It's bullshit. It's propaganda. They use that shit to cover our eyes from what's really going on. And then when people do try to tell people what's really going on, they're called conspiracy theorists or crazies or fringe or far left or far right. It's always a label. It's always got to be a freaking label. Rather than being like, let's talk about that. Like, let's have a conversation. Let's not have the attention span of a newt. I don't know. That people have barely 15-second attention spans. It's just sad. We need to be having conversations. We need to be talking to each other. We need to be seeing past all the bullshit rhetoric, all the crap that they're trying to get us to have all this infighting on, because at the end of the day, we're going to see more eye to eye with each other than we believe. I have met people on both the left and the right that I didn't think we'd agree on as much as we agree on, but we do. Because of that basic human element. We want ourselves and our family and our friends to be safe and well taken care of. And it's not about giving people handouts. You never know when hard times come. To you, to your friends, to your family. And why shouldn't we have a safety net available for people that need help, that want help? Now, are there going to be people that just want to waste their life away and do what they do? Yeah, of course. But the bulk of people want to be contributing to their community and to society in general. And why it's such a boogeyman socialist label to say we want people to have basic necessities provided to them from our tax dollars. Like, I'm willing to pay taxes if it means it's going to help people, to help my fellow community. But mainstream media takes us out of that realm way too often. And right now, so much of the focus is internationally with the war in Ukraine. There is a lot going on internationally because, let's face it, the US has over 800 military bases all around the world. We have our fingers in so many different places. So we're causing a lot of crap in lots of places. And that's going to have serious repercussions. It's going to lead to refugees. It's going to lead to people despising the United States because of what we do to their infrastructure, to their economy, to the people. Look at what we've done to the Middle East. Look at what we've done to Africa. Look at what we've done to South America. Like, look at what we've done to the world. America needs a timeout. But mainstream media keeps us focused on other things. When in reality, if you were to go down your street, there's someone struggling. Someone needs help. They want us to think in these long, far away aspects, you know? But there's people that need help here. There's someone in your life that needs help right now. I don't know. Well, like I said, I don't know if this is going to resonate with anyone. If it does, Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, the bell, all those fun things we gotta say to whatever. But yeah, just know if you're feeling politically homeless, you're not alone. And I don't know what the next steps should be, but what I do feel is the right thing to do is we've got to stop sensationalizing everything and everyone and canceling people and wanting to put people into boxes. They've dwindled us down to 15-second sound bites because they know that once you get past that, you get more depth, you get more information, you get more clarity. And with more clarity comes more understanding in general of the design of what's really going on. And they don't want that. Because they can't control you that way. I just think that there's some basics. We need to get back to basics. Because we're not going to make any progress if we don't. If we don't find a way to come together. If we don't find a way to just take that deep breath when someone upsets you or says something that you don't like. Be like, okay, why are they saying this? Is it just to upset me? Or is it truly something that they believe? And is it worth having a conversation with them? Now, some people, it's not going to be worth having a conversation because they don't have a good motive for even starting the conversation. They just want to have a debate and they just want to win. But when you step away from wanting to win an argument and try to start understanding people, then you get a better understanding of just everything. And someone that doesn't believe everything you believe, less scary and intimidating. Because you can see eye to eye. You can see more of that person and more of yourself. And you just might change your mind on some things. I used to be one of those extreme liberal Democrats and cried the day that Trump was elected, had my future is female t-shirt. But that's the thing. It's just all about capitalism, selling merch, selling ideas. It's not really about doing anything. Now, is Trump bad? Yeah. Is Biden bad? Yeah. They're both bad. And we shouldn't have to be settling for two forms of bad. And this country wasn't founded on, the desire for democracy and stuff. No, it was a bunch of white guys that didn't want to be told what to do by the monarchy, so they came here, decimated the indigenous peoples, enslaved black people, and decided to write up a declaration of what they believed the laws of the land should be, that emboldened them, empowered them, and allowed them and their legacy families to continue on. It wasn't about freedom. Colonialism is a disease, and the way that liberals want to go about teaching that in schools, unfortunately, is having the opposite response from the right. Because the right feels like they're being attacked, which, yeah, in a way, they kind of are. They've been privileged by that system of colonialism, and they don't want to take responsibility for what their ancestors did. But then, why are black people having to pay for their ancestors? They're still subjugated in this country, imprisoned at much higher rates than white people for the same exact crimes. And like farm workers, doing some of the hardest work, like some of the hardest manual labor. They're not unionized. They don't have good wages. They don't have health and safety protocols for their quote-unquote workplace. And they're out there doing the work so that we have food. Yet they get treated like second-class citizens. people in customer service, people that serve you your food, your coffee. These are some of the lowest paid jobs in this country. And those people get treated probably some of the worst that you can get treated. Because when people go to a restaurant, when they go to a Starbucks, they're wanting their coffee, they're wanting their food, they're hangry. And they just look at these people behind these counters, making their food, making their drinks, like they're servants, like they're automatrons, like they have no feelings. Being one of those jobs where you have to deal with people on a daily basis, it takes it out of you. And you don't get the appreciation or the compensation that you should. And you're expendable. And the companies know that. That's what they bank on. They bank on people quitting so that they can bring in a new hire at a much lower rate. And too many companies work the system so that you get scheduled hours, so that you don't meet the qualifying amount to get full time, which means you don't get benefits, which means you're screwed. And the fact that everything in our country is related to whether or not you can produce. We're the only country that does that. That requires every single person be able to produce and pay for the things that they need. And at times, what we require them to have. Thanks to the Affordable Care Act, you were penalized if you couldn't afford to get Obamacare. You were penalized if you could not afford health care. I was one of those people. Healthcare is freaking expensive. And it's something that now you're required to do. I was so happy when Trump got rid of that. Because I was like, yeah, I can't afford healthcare. And then I'm going to get penalized for not being able to afford healthcare. How does any of that make sense? How is that affordable healthcare? It's bullshit care. Because it is bullshit care. Because you still have to meet deductibles, which means you still have to expend money that you probably don't have. And you're in your weakest state. You're sick. You need help. People are having to decide whether or not to go through with treatments and surgeries because they can't afford them. We're the richest nation in the world, and people can't afford basic health screenings and surgeries that they need. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. They keep telling us that there's no other way, that it's a two-party system, and that's all we can do. So keep voting, keep voting, keep voting. I voted for Obama. I believed the hope, the message, and then spent the next 7 years while he was president just scraping by. Going to school, working full time. I know I'm not the only one. You do the things they said to do. Go to school, get a good education, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, apply to those jobs, do the work. Well, we did the work. And now we're in the same place. We're in the same exact place as we were in 2008. We are reliving the Obama-Biden years with Biden and Harris. And we're only a year in. It feels like end times madness. And I don't mean end times like, the world is going to be blown up and destroyed. No, but we are definitely coming to the end of maybe capitalism, which can have a lot of repercussions. Well, I'm rambling. just something I needed to get off my chest. I've been feeling this a lot, thinking about it. There's so much going on, and so many people are wanting to put people in boxes, and I just feel like we're not going to get anywhere if all we care is the ideological stuff. We need to get back to basics. We need to find our middle ground with people, because there's a lot more there than we think. So, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you on the flip side.